really an indication of how far this Alabama team has come under Nate Oats.
Most prolific three-point shooting team in the country. Alabama raining down the threes.
You got to credit this Alabama defense. They get back, they grind, they're right up in you. 6 triples in the first 4 minutes.
The Nate Oats Show is brought to you by Tri-Green Equipment. Hard to believe it is our last one for the 2022 season, along with head coach Nate Oats. I'm Chris Stewart. Coach, incredible that we're to this point. We are in March, and unfortunately, not coming off of the best game of the year, but a week where you go 1-1 again.
Yeah, it's been nice to go 2-0. You know, 2 winnable games at home. Don't like to give away home games, but you know, we didn't play the best against A&M. You know, they played hard. We didn't play hard enough, which is disappointing. But I thought the South Carolina game, a little bit of our season, you know, we played really, really well for 32 out of the 40 minutes. The 8 minutes, kind of let them back in, and then we blew it back open again. And then, you know, A&M were up at the half, and then just the second half, effort's not where it needed to be, and we ended up losing by way too big a margin at home. So we got to get ourselves regrouped before we go to LSU. But, you know, we're still in a good spot. I mean, even after the loss, we can still be a 5 seed in the SEC tournament, which is where we were. It's the highest seed we could have been going in these last 2 games anyways. We weren't going to be able to catch 4. So if we can win at LSU, we're still going to get a 5 seed. So it's got to be our mindset now is let's regroup, let's go to LSU, and let's get a win.
Let's go back to the South Carolina game, and Coach, you're exactly right. It was a game filled with a whole lot more good than bad, especially early on.
Yeah, I mean, Cornell had it going. It's one of his better games, so thought he was really turning the corner. You know, he's making shots at a high level. He's getting downhill. He's kind of had his swagger back. You know, he's good to see. So kind of his pop back in, and we got to get back where he's doing that every night. So when he's playing like he played that game, we're a tough team to beat. So Shackelford's been, I mean, he's been good all year. He's been one of our most consistent players. So, I mean, you look, you know, he ended up having 20, he have 21.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's not a bad night. And it looked like, you know, he had 2 guys over 20s, pretty good. So, you know, he shot it fairly well. He's 4 of 9 from 3. Didn't miss a free throw. And got to the rim. Got big threes. Kind of had everything going.
Keon, another one, Coach, that was close to that 20-point total, as he had 17 and 7.
Yeah, he was good too. I mean, we haven't had many games where I felt like all 4 of our guards played pretty well in the entire game, and this was one of them. So, you know, Keon got it going from 3. He's been shooting the ball well. I think he and Shaq both went 4 of 9 from 3. Cornell went 4 of 5. So these guys hit a combined 12 threes. It's pretty good from 3 guys.
And you got it going inside as well with the big man.
Yeah, Charles is coming around. I mean, he's playing at the rim well. He finished well. He's been giving us good minutes. You know, we've been better when he's in. I think he, you know, he's plus 17 in the game, if I remember right. So guys are finding him. Our guards are doing a better job finding him on plays like that, the lobs, and when pick and roll coverage isn't where it's supposed to be. So he's been playing better. We need him to continue to play better here as we go through March. 23-point
lead at half. They cut it to 6, but then your team got the lead back up to 25. I thought the way they responded, Coach, was huge there.
Yeah, it was big. You know, when the lead got cut to 6, we could have folded. Thought we showed some character, building it back up like we did. You know, we went on another big run ourselves. So it would be nice if we could build a 25-point lead and keep it at 25 plus. But basketball is a game of runs, and when the other team goes on a run against you, like, you need to answer and go on a run, and we did that. So I was proud to see that. You know, hopefully next time we get a 25-point lead, it doesn't get cut to 6, though.
90-71, indeed, the final. Let's go all access on the Tide's victory against the Gamecocks.
Okay, we've got 3 games left in regular season. This has to become us. Every opportunity to take and make a blue-collar play has to be made. Okay, the guys that are willing to put their body on the line and play hard for their teammates in this team, that's what we got to have in there.
We're going to play hard out of the gate. Rebound, play defense, have fun with it.
Let's make our run. Let's do what they say we can't do. All right? I know we can.
Let's go toughness. 1, 2, 3. Toughness.
Quinterly steps back, 3. Bottom.
three, knocked down by Keon Ellis.
Open from the bottom. Boys, he's smelling it right now.
Rojas, a senior. Rojas!
Driving left side. Already out go to finish.
Tell you what, nobody is diverting Javon Quinterly.
JD on the step through. Count it. And he's fouled. Spinning, shooting, and scoring.
He earned that one and then some.
First of the second half for Alabama, and it puts the lead back up to 9.
Pass Quinterly to Shackelford. Oh, my goodness.
Off the glass. What a move by JD. Stops, pops, drops the deep three. Picked up by Shaq. We got numbers. Ahead. Keon, the flush.
But the tide just too much in this one. Alabama behind 13 threes.
Senior night.
Tell the camera you got a dinosaur? I know.
On senior night, I'll go back.
Troy Bolton. Hey, I got together, you got we win. Together, we win.
Not the outcome we're looking for, Coach, in the last home game of the year. Texas A&M comes in. You had them late in the first half, and then momentum started to switch in that last minute.
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was, we gave up the three. We had a 6-point lead, gave up the three. They cut it to 3. I thought, we called the timeout. Been nice. We ran a play to get a 3 off for us and don't run it properly and don't get the shot off. If we get to stop and then at the 3, it could have been 9 points.
Sure.
Instead, it's 3 points. It's a lot different. And then we come out up 3, and then they go on a 10-2 run, take the lead, and never look back from there. So a lot of little things that were a big deal in that game. We loose balls we didn't get. They end up with dunks off them. Rebounding, we had 2 second chance points. That's not how we play. We got to do a better job on the offensive glass. They had 13, turned the ball over 19 times. We knew that was going to be an issue against them. It was a major issue. Their points off turnovers. They had 29 points off turnovers, 13 second chance points. That's a lot of points.
Right. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, Coach, where, again, in the first half, you were able to have some success, and a big reason why the early shooting from Jaden Shackelford.
Yeah, Shaq came out on fire. I mean, shoot, I thought he might go for 30 the way he started, and then kind of, I left him on for a while. He has to sub himself out, and then never quite got it going again. But, part of that's the ball didn't move like it needed to. Our turnovers were too high. We didn't find him enough as it went on, so hopefully we can get him going again and have a good start.
You said this wasn't going to be a great matchup necessarily for Bediako because they would play smaller, but he took advantage of that early.
No, he did, and they had big lineups, small lineups, and even when he was in, he protected the rim for us. So they're at the rim finishing was a lot different when he was in the game versus when he was out, and he got us going out of the gate with the first 2 buckets. So he's coming along well. Javon scored it well at times. It wasn't one of his better games, but when you have one of your poorer games and still end up with 14, it's not a bad night. He just had a few too many turnovers, but when he wants to be aggressive and get downhill, there's not too many people staying in front of him, and he's still shooting the ball at a fairly decent clip too.
And again, based on what he did the previous game and also this time last year, a lot of excitement for what this team can be going forward, even though obviously the second half numbers indicative of the struggles for that ball game.
Yeah, 50-31's not good for the second half. Really bad defense fell apart on us, and it's been too typical of this team, to be honest with you. So have to get a 40-minute effort out of our group on the defensive end. If we do, we're really good. But it didn't happen that night. We got to regroup. We got to get ourselves together, head to LSU, and get ourselves a win down at LSU and put ourselves in a good spot for the SEC tournament.
Not a lot of highlights, unfortunately, last night, but some great highlights over the course of the year. We'll check back in on those when we return here on the Nate Oats Show. well documented, a lot of frustration over the course of this year, but far more good than bad, Coach, as these top plays from the season that we'll take a look at would indicate.
Yeah, and we've had some of the better wins in all the college basketball this year, so definitely capable of those JQ's finding.
That's not one you teach. You talk about finding the man, but finding him in that manner, that's a little bit different look.
That was pretty good. I didn't have too many of those myself.
I understand. Shaq going for 30 in that matchup. Coach, that's pretty special.
Yeah, that was big. He had 28 a few times in his career. He finally got to 30, so he's more than capable of going for 30 on any given night. And he got to the rim, made shots from 3, so.
Here's another one you don't teach, but you do enjoy.
Yeah, it's pretty athletic. You get the ball out in the open floor at a pretty high level. So
yeah.
Playing off the steal.
Another dime that he drops behind.
He's got a few behind the back passes. Yeah.
And again, that's not just being showy, Coach. That's the pass to make right
no,
there.
It's true. He doesn't do too much of that where he tries to go behind the back when it's not supposed to be. He's got a pretty good feel for when he needs to use the tools he's got, and he's really skilled too.
Throwing it high like that's always a good idea with Bediako. We've underthrown a few this year that direction.
Yeah, we needed to throw more of them up there. That was a 7-footer he dunked on himself there, so it wasn't a little guard he's dunking on.
Darius is pretty good at that as well.
Yeah, you know what? That Sports Center one he had last year was with his right hand too. So even though he's a lefty, seems like he wants to go to the rim and dunk with his right a little bit more. So he gets up. He's got some. He got a vertical on him, and JD got the 2 highest verticals on the team.
That was a huge play against Houston.
Yeah, that was huge. That was right after he had the tip dunk on the other end. So he kind of combined the tip dunk and the block, and that was a big inning for him at that end of the Houston game.
That was a huge moment in that game, and now the Baylor game as well. What a great day! What a fun day, and a great finish as part of that.
Yeah, no, that was a great win for us. The Baylor game, Keon getting out in transition, dunking the ball is pretty good. So. This.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
That was nasty. One of the best shot blockers in college basketball.
What was number 1? If that was number 2, thought that was number 1.
That's the best one I saw in person. I was not in Orlando for this one, though, Coach.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. That was a while ago. This is pretty good, too. That was 1A, 1B, I think I call them. That's pretty good, though. Keon, I forgot about that one against Miami.
That was down in Orlando.
He kind of cocked that back and went on the kids. Whoever the judges were, I can agree with them. But that JD one was nice. Those were both pretty good.
They were indeed. We've got more good things coming up. Stay with us. We'll talk about the team's tournament resume. Talking NCAA with Nate Oats next. Coach, a lot of years past, I've done the Alabama Basketball Coaches Show, and we've kind of made the argument for why Alabama should be an NCAA tournament team. And maybe not been able to do it with our whole heart. This one's pretty clear. As you take a look at your resume right now, you are clearly, according to guys far smarter than myself, an NCAA tournament team, and the record and who you've beaten would certainly indicate that.
Yeah, you know what, last night's loss doesn't help this, but, you know, we're a 5 seed right now. You know, the quad 1 record, 7 quad 1 wins is one of the better in the country. I think there's only maybe 3 teams with more. We're the only school in the country that hasn't played a quad 4 game. So, you know, we've got our SEC record, just a game above 500. But some of our non-conference wins, Gonzaga, Houston, you know, Baylor, like we've got big wins, and we've got some wins in conference too. So we've got a chance for another quad 1 win at LSU. Saturday, which would be great if we could add that to the list.
I got to ask you about this with your schedule. You attempt to schedule a challenging schedule. You have no idea that it's going to be this tough. It depends on what other teams do in order for it to play out this way. But will you try to schedule this way in the future?
I mean, I think we will. I mean, like teams that figure, well, you schedule this hard. Well, who would you take off? You'd probably take Gonzaga and Houston off. Well, if we don't have those 2 wins, what's our resume look like right now?
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, maybe Davidson got scheduled like a day before the game. That was a hard, you know, because that game got canceled with Colorado State. So, that loss, we had to take what we could get, and we wanted a quality opponent in there. So, yeah, I think you have to put yourself in a spot to get quad 1 wins and quality wins. If you don't give yourself a chance to get them, you can't get them. So, yeah, we just, all right, we got to be more consistent. That's what we got to do a better job coaching the team, be more consistent. But I think putting ourselves in the chance to get wins like this has enabled us to be in the NCAA tournament.
And certainly this win was huge when you beat Gonzaga in Seattle, basically a road victory.
Yeah, I mean, it was big. I mean, it was a pretty convincing win, too. It was in front of the entire country, and we established ourselves as one of the better teams, and Gonzaga's back to #1 in the country. So we've got, Baylor's the defending national champs. They spend time at #1 in the country. So to get wins against both those teams, and they're both pretty convincing wins, like just about double digits, I think 11 and 9 between the two of them. So two #1 teams, Auburn, it was #1 at one point, we played them too. We played a lot of top 5 teams this year.
Tennessee right now playing great, got a chance to get a piece of the title in the league going to the final day, and that's a great win you had at home against them.
No, for sure. And you know what? All the teams that we beat, I'm rooting hard for them to get wins, so that those wins, our wins, look even better. So, yeah, I mean, that was big. It was early in conference play, but that was a big win. So, we've got quality wins, between Gonzaga, Tennessee, Baylor, Houston. This is a Houston one. We made some big plays here down the stretch. That was a tight one, a one-possession game. You got to win tight games, and we figured out a way to be tough, quality. And we played them at full strength. Shoot, their best 2 offensive players are out for the year, and they're still beating everybody. It just shows you how tough and what a great job that they've done as a coaching staff. But we beat them when they were at full strength with both the players.
The win over Arkansas. I mean, you're the last team and the only team in the last 14, 15 games for them that's knocked them off.
Yeah, what have they won? 14 in the last 15, maybe.
Yes,
so
sir.
They've more than 1 loss. So, our guys have shown they're more than capable of beating the best teams in the country. Just also shown more than capable of losing to some of the worst teams in our league. So we've got to get some consistency about us if we can put together the effort that it took to win these games. Back to back to back, we can make some noise here in March. So that's what we're looking to do. Big buckets from Noah. Huge buckets. He scored the last 2 buckets to beat that Arkansas team, so that was big for us.
When we come back, we'll preview the final game of the regular season and look ahead to the SEC tournament as well when we wrap up the Nate Oats Show. Wrapping up the regular season, coach in Baton Rouge against a good LSU team.
Very good. I mean, they got quality wins. They play hard. Shoot, they almost beat Arkansas. They were up big, pretty big late in the game, and ended up fouling Note, who had 2 big free throws to win the game with less than 10 seconds to go. But, we beat them at our place, played well here. That was a long time ago. It's going to be different at their place. They're at the time, I think they were #1 defense in the country. I think they're top 5. Their offense has struggled a little bit, but they've got Tyrese, and they've got offensive firepower. Eason, Penson, Gaines a little bit. They've got Days can score it, so they've got more than enough firepower to beat anybody in our league. And their defense has been really good, so we got to play well at their place. Got to enjoy the confetti falling last year, Coach, at the SEC tournament. You did that on the back end of winning the regular season title, and we head into the tournament. Looking forward to it again this year. Yeah, we're not going to defend the regular season title, but we're still the defending tournament champs. Let's go in there with that mindset, and let's go in there and try to get another one. We're going to have to win four games this time, but that feeling of cutting those nets down is feeling unlike any other in the sport of college basketball. So, and we can beat anybody in the SEC if we playing well. So that's our mindset. We got to get on a run and make a 4-game run here. Look forward to a lot more basketball, but it's our final show of the year. Always fun to work with you, Coach. Thank you. It's been great. Appreciate you guys. Aaron did a great job. It's fun to work with you. Thank you, Coach. Hoops. We appreciate all of you spending time with us as well here on the Nate Oats Show.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,